In this video, I want to explain how to launch mentoring in your youth group. Now, it's good to think about your youth ministry in terms of two main areas. Number one, you've got your events, your midweek services, some of the other events that you have throughout the year. All that stuff is great. It's exciting. Healthy churches should have those gateway experiences where you're getting youth together. And I hope you're really putting energies into that and making that a fun thing for the junior hires, the high schoolers that are coming to your church. All that stuff is great. That's not what we're talking about in this video. In this video, we're talking about introducing what I think is the backbone of a healthy youth ministry, and it's mentoring. Now, first, let's just describe what we mean by mentoring. We're talking about using the resources at PursueGOD.org, using those video resources, those mentoring resources, those discipleship resources. It's important that you have clearly in your mind what mentoring is, because as I explain this to you, if you don't have it clearly defined, then it really isn't going to sort of become viral in your youth ministry. And the goal here is to allow everyone who's involved to be a mentor, not just a few of the leaders, a few of the key leaders, but really the goal is to get everyone to do what we say in Foundations, to go full circle, right? We say full circle believers are people who trust Jesus for their salvation. They live their lives to honor God. And then the third thing is they grow by helping others. And of course, ultimately what we mean by that is they're mentoring others. They have an opportunity to do what Jesus said, to make disciples. So when we say mentoring, we're talking about disciple making, but we're talking about intentionally coming alongside somebody else and helping them to pursue God, having those regular, every week, every other week, every month, whatever, those regular conversations where a mentor is sitting down with one or two or three people and just really pouring into them, using those resources, using the flex method, all that stuff. So again, if you don't know what that stuff is, check out the resources below. Make sure you check out mentor training, because that's what we're talking about when we're talking about launching mentoring in your church. Okay, so then once you get clear on what exactly that is, here's how you roll it out. Real simple. Youth leaders, whether there's one of you or two of you or three of you, it doesn't matter how many leaders you have, how many adult leaders you have. Each one of you mentors one or two or three people. Each one of you intentionally pours into one or two or three young people in your youth group, preferably some of the older students. You start mentoring them. You start using the method, using the tools. Again, don't complicate it. Just make that commitment to them. Make sure you understand what mentoring is. It's really going with them one-on-one or one-on-two or whatever, and begin mentoring them. Once you do this, and remember, keep it really simple. Once you do this, you have what you need to really start getting it throughout your ministry. Because as youth leaders, as you are mentoring, each of you are mentoring a few people, you start covering one level with the first generation. And then it's really just as simple as expecting and empowering and sending out those people that you're mentoring to say, listen, what I've done with you, you go do with someone else. This is what Paul was talking about in 2 Timothy 2. He was saying, someone poured into me, I pour into you, you go pour into someone else. And that's why our resources are the way they are online. It's so that you have the simple tools so that you can do something, mentor people in that first generation, and then you can send them out to mentor people in the next generation. So a simple way to think about it, again, you'll have to think about this and talk about this with your youth ministry in mind and with your students in mind, and I encourage you to do that using those resources. But a real simple way to think about this is the adult leaders mentor, the upperclassmen, and then the upperclassmen mentor the lowerclassmen. Again, there might be some variation to that, but that's a simple way to approach it. And if you do it, if you use those tools, if you use that training, again, not everyone will necessarily get into it, but the ones that do it, the ones that successfully do it, those are wins. And every time you have a successful mentoring relationship going, that's awesome. Celebrate that win, encourage that to continue on, not just to one generation and a second generation, but to generations and generations to come. Now, pastors and youth leaders, use the resources below to talk about this with your students in mind. Maybe create your own mentoring tree. Okay, who's gonna mentor these guys, and then who are they gonna mentor? And with God's help, you can trust that viral mentoring effect will just begin to happen throughout your whole youth ministry, and then even throughout your entire church.